Alright, so this past weekend, I watched Alt-Right, Age of Rage, and just thought I'd do a video just kind of giving my general thoughts on it. There's a lot of comparisons that I'll probably make to Meeting the Enemy. White Right, Meeting the Enemy. If you haven't watched that, go check that out so you can do the comparison with me, but I actually like the way this one was filmed better because it focused on leaders of the movement rather than underlings. And it also brought in another aspect. It also focused on Antifa. And the other one had no kind of opposite side that it covered. And I thought it was really interesting. And I just liked that it just seemed bigger because they were looking at the leaders of the movement and the people who were behind the movements. Now, in the White Right, Meeting the Enemy, it showed like a little bit, just a little bit of Richard Spencer and like leaders of the alt-right movement. But this movie like focused on them, and it was much more interesting in that regard. Like it wasn't a bunch of people at the bottom just throwing out their careless opinions. These guys they were more articulate and expressing what they believe. Now, what they believe is still complete fucking garbage. Don't get me wrong. It's still absolutely retarded. But it kind of gave you a glimpse of why this movement is, and I'm not saying it's a popular movement, but why it's as popular as it is because it has well-spoken, intelligent people behind it, but they're just spewing bullshit. Like a lot of it, they quote a lot of pseudoscience from a long fucking time ago that we have since proved wrong time and time again. Just about how different the races are and things like that. Just this very divisive type of like focused science, pseudoscience, and so I like that aspect better. I like that it showed the leaders of the movement rather than hillbillies. It was a much better look in terms of that. Also, you got to see the real creator of the alt-right movement, which is above, Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer is like the guy who basically coined alt-right. But there's a guy above him who... Now they go about it in slightly different ways. They have different ideas of where they would want, what they would want America to look like, but similar ideologies. They attend the same conferences, so you can lump them together. And as I said, this one also focused on Antifa, and basically the mind behind the Antifa movement. And one thing, I almost hate to say this because I don't want you to think I sympathize at all with the alt-right. But this is definitely a slanted documentary. They showed the alt-right as this horrible group, which they are. But then they showed Antifa in this very positive light. And I don't see Antifa in a very positive light. They're violent. They hurt people. They destroy things. This is not a good group. Okay? So that's one thing I didn't like, but that was an observation that I made, is that they definitely, the way it was filmed, or at least the way the leaders acted, made it seem way more ridiculous. Like, it made it seem like the alt-right was this horrible hate group, and Antifa was this measured and, cool, calm, protesting, it's like, but they're not. They're not. So, I think they're both a big problem. Now, obviously, the alt-right, I feel like, is a much bigger problem in terms of ideology. But don't paint Antifa as some sort of like peace-loving, you know, only violent when they're attacked group, because this is not the case. Antifa also likes to shout down public speakers, and just making claims that people are racist when they're actually not. They just don't like what they're saying. And but shouting and trying to cause violence around public speakers, like people like, I don't know, like Ben Shapiro, like Jordan Peterson, it's like you can't just make claims that people are racist or violent or hateful and just shout them down and eliminate freedom of speech. Like, that's one thing they didn't show of Antifa, is that they do those sort of things. So it was definitely slanted. I wouldn't have, if I was the filmmaker, I definitely wouldn't have painted one in a super positive light and one in a super negative light. Probably more like show the alt-right in a super negative light and Antifa in a less negative but still negative light. So it's ridiculous to I don't know. Like I said, I liked the information that it gave better. I liked people they followed, the people they talked to. I liked that aspect of it a lot better. However, I don't like something that's slanted, especially if it's being presented as a documentary. So yeah, I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it better than White Right Meeting the Enemy, 100%. It felt more, it was a smarter look at the situation. I don't know, I enjoyed what they did with it. I absolutely condemn the alt-right. I don't think I'm in any way supporting the alt-right by saying that I do not agree with Antifa. I don't like the way Antifa does things, and I absolutely don't like alt-right ideology. So, anyway, let me know. If you guys watch this thing, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you're into stuff like this, where I talk about TV shows, movies, pop culture, comic books, nerd shit, anything like that, subscribe for more, because that's what I do here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.